What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about the NBA playoff updates. But before we do that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Comment, tell anyone about the show. Trying to get the ratings up a little bit, just a little bit. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about the recap of the first round. And I guess why not talk about the second round, too, expectation-wise. So with that being said, was the playoffs first round entertaining for you guys? For me, it was out. We had a couple of surprises, right? Playing was cool. First round, it went kind of expected. There were maybe some surprises, but not really surprises, though. For me, at least. But let's start it off. We're going to start it off with the East, too, because, it's usually called the Easy East, ladies and gentlemen. But let's start off with the Cavs versus the Heat. That's right here. That's right here. Now, those boys, this was a good series. The Cavs did sweep the Heat, and the sweep was rather impressive because of the dominance that the Cavs did. I was expecting them to at least go 5-6 games, maybe even lose potentially to the Heat, because I thought the Heat enough talent, had enough experience to at least make it competitive, but they did not. And as a result, now we gotta figure out for the Heat, hey, what's your new identity post that Jeffrey Jordan trade after that Jimmy Butler era? Because getting swept by the Cavs, who people might not really praise the Cavs, even though they did well this regular season, getting swept was very tough. Swept, no wins. That means y'all don't have a star. That's what I'm seeing. So that's what I looked at with the Cavs and Heat. So kudos to the Cavs. We'll talk about them later. The Heat, we'll talk about you on another episode. But, ladies and gentlemen, the next team that we're going to talk about, I'm going to be Celtics versus Magic. All right, Celtics versus Magic. We're going to keep it in order because they were the 2 seed versus 7. Magic, y'all showed heart. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And I've been trying to say that the Celtics and Magic series can be like the big brother, little brother rivalry that we all love to watch. Think of OKC versus Spurs back in the day when you had a young Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook trying to battle Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. That's what I'm thinking about. And keep in mind, the Magic weren't healthy. So they did prove that this could be a future rivalry. If everyone played their cards right. So fingers crossed that I'm right on that one. But it was a good playoff matchup. Hope y'all all enjoyed it. The Knicks versus the Pistons. 3-6. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks did not dominate, in my opinion. And they needed to. I understand the Pistons were scrappy. And keep in mind, I've been saying the Pistons are a playoff-ready team since last year. So I understand that the Pistons have good talent. Playoff experience matters. And the Knicks did not come off like a contender. I wanted them to dominate. And I felt like the Knicks could have lost that series. That's right. I thought the Pistons had a shot at beating them. Next year, if they run it back, maybe the Pistons beat them. I don't know. And that's troubling for me, for the Knicks organization. So again, ladies and gentlemen, a good series across the board. I'm happy that the Knicks gutted it out the way they did. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to see a little more dominance. So kudos to the Pistons. I like the Pistons more so in this series. But the Knicks, they did win. Kudos. Now we can talk about the next matchup, right? Pacers and Bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, long story short, Bucks were injured, okay? Dane tried to come back. He did come back. Then got injured again. Like, come on now. That's tough. So this Bucks team, yeah, we're going to talk about them losing to this Pacers squad. But keep in mind, this Pacers team has a narrative now that they only win when there's an injured player on the opposition. And I would love for the Pacers team to be able to change that. Again, injuries do happen. They're part of the game. It's just tough. Because every team they battled since last year in the playoffs has had an injured person, a key player injured, not some role player. And that's what we have versus Bucks squad. So the Bucks, they're going to be looking to possibly trade Giannis. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm Giannis, I don't know how long I want to stay with this Bucks team. If you're trying to build championships, because end of day, who will go to the Bucks? But that's another episode for another day. But again, the Pacers Bucks series, unfortunately, it didn't go as well as I wanted it to. But again, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the East side, though. That is the Eastern side. So it was a good one. It was a good one. But let's move on down to the West. Let's move on over to the West. Let's talk about OKC versus the Grizzlies. Ladies and gentlemen, long story short, OKC dominated. I still get that they're too young, though. Like, that's the vibe that I get. And it's weird to say that because, again, the way they dominated the Grizzlies, it makes you question everybody who said they're still too young. Are y'all too stupid? And that's including myself. Like that, like there's a world where the OKC Thunder win a championship this season. Just feels too young. Just feels like they're still too young. And this Grizzlies team, I almost want to say blow it up. But there's a structure there where you can still have a championship team. And there's some key people where they're able to make some trades. They can get back to what they were. Remember, they were considered contenders not too long ago. The way people look at OKC, they were looking at the Memphis Grizzlies in similar fashion. So you can get back to there. But it's at the point now where it's a 50-50 shot. Should you blow it up? Should you try to retool? That's where we are with the Grizzlies. But OKC, kudos to you guys. And dang, I really do wish, I really do wish that we can trade Ja Morant and get someone like Giannis. But that's another discussion for another day. Let's move on down to the Warriors and Rockets, ladies and gentlemen. 2 through 7. 2 and 7. The Warriors. I'm wondering if they're still contenders, okay? Now, keep in mind, they did win versus the Rockets. It went to Game 7. The Rockets did have the height advantage, the rebound advantage. The Warriors still got Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. And I've said that the Warriors remind me of the 96 Bulls, so they could very well win the championship this season. The Rockets showed tremendous future promise. Amen Thompson, he's the star like I've been saying he's going to be. Best believe it. And when they make him the one option, not just the point guard, but the one option on the Rockets, watch out. They're getting ready to take off. Do have some question marks about Jalen Green, I will admit. You weren't hooping that well, fella. You weren't really getting too many buckets. And we already said you was inefficient. But dang. You know what I mean? Like, that's tough. So I do have some question marks around the Rockets. Should they make a trade for someone like Kevin Durant? Let's wait and see, because I do think, too, they have players like a Cam Whitmore who you might be able to do well with. So, again, they have the talent. It's now just about cultivating that team properly, and I think they have the coach to do so. So be on the lookout for the Rockets. I don't think they need to make a trade right now, but let's see what happens. But again, Warriors-Rockets was a good series. Hope y'all enjoyed it. But let's move on down to the Wolves and Lakers, because damn, that one was tough. Anthony Edwards officially is a star for me. I said he was a fringe star last year, like 11, maybe 12. Officially right there. Like poetically replacing LeBron James in the top 10 too, because Braun was like number 10 for me. My concerns about the Lakers, valid. Because I can't really talk about anybody else outside of Anthony Edwards. Maybe Julius Randle. He played well consistently. Jaden Daniels, I get, but he's a defender to me. Rudy Gobert, he played his role, but he had an advantage too. Our bigs were trash. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of concerns going into the offseason for next year. Every single player on my team. I'm talking about Luka, Braun, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent. It does not matter. So that's what the Wolves made the Laker Nation do. And keep in mind, I had concerns before the series started. I'm at the point now where I'm saying we gotta flip Braun, maybe even trade Austin Reeves. When I say maybe, take the maybe off. Luka's our future apparently. So again, the Wolves just got us out the way, and I thought we should have actually won in 6 based on the talent we had. Blown, but that's enough about the Wolves and Lakers. Because it's not that appeasing no more. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Yeah, I'm a poor sport. I admit it. Let's talk about the Nuggets and Clippers, right? All right, so this one was interesting. Nuggets, they won the championship 2023, right? They look like they'll need an all-star starting next year. They do have decent depth. I will say it would be nice for them, for Jokic, to be paired with an all-star. And I think they have all-star talent. We need to see him with the all-star official, like an official all-star. I like the duo with him and Murray. It can run its course. Somebody may have to get traded eventually with MPJ, Jamal Murray. Hopefully not Aaron Gordon, but Aaron Gordon's athleticism does keep him there. So will they have to find a replacement eventually? Like, these are things that I'm thinking about. But they still look good. And keep in mind, they went up against a Clipper team who are, when healthy, actually scary. Like, when the Clippers are playing to their potential, ladies and gentlemen, they can win a championship. Problem is, I don't think they can play to their potential. So I never believed in them winning a championship this season. On paper, they look cool. Now we got to ask, should we blow it up? Do you believe in Kawhi Leonard being healthy as the star? Because maybe if he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him, he can last the season. We'll have to find out. James Harden was the second, maybe even third option on the team. He had a good season. Seemed like maybe he was able to produce a little bit until you got back to that game 7. He had his woes again. So that's a thing. Like, that might just be law. James is going to struggle offensively. He can pass the ball. Shooting the ball might be a little tough. But again, Nuggets Clippers, it was entertaining because this went 7, and it was a good series to watch. And it makes you now wonder, should the Clippers actually continue it? Because let's say the Nuggets win. They went in game 7 with the champions. That's not bad. Maybe you don't blow it up. But again, I think you might want to. It's looking a little tough. But ladies and gentlemen, these were, again, the first round recaps. And they did kind of go with my predictions. I will say I did expect us, the Lakers, to win it. I will say that. I expected the Warriors to win, expected the Nuggets to win, and OKC. The Cavs as well, too. Although I thought the Heat could. I said I expected the Cavs to. The Bucks, I thought, could if they had Dame back, but it is what it is. They didn't. The Knicks, I expected, and the Celtics, I expected. So again, they win as predicted, ladies and gentlemen. But maybe some of y'all had it like this, and I do understand it. Again, I picked my Lakers as well too, but we not in this thing no more. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about my second round expectations, because again, these are some good ones, I got to admit. And we could talk about here the Warriors and Wolves. Jimmy Jeffrey Jordan versus Anthony Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, we get to see the matchup, the defensive matchup. I love to see it. Also, Steph Curry versus Anthony Edwards. Didn't they both make a lot of threes this season? Aren't they both looked at as stars now? Gotta love that. And on top of that, too, the Wolves just beat my Lakers. So there's like a world where, Bron gonna be living vicariously through Ant-Man. So let's enjoy that. That was gonna be a fun, entertaining matchup. Also, Gobert, yeah, you had the advantage rebound-wise versus us. So did you, Randall. So did you, Naz Reid. Y'all are gonna be the X factors because, hey, do you get second chance points? I'm sure they're gonna try to, the Warriors meeting, are gonna try to run y'all off the 3-point line or really have really good team defense. Let me say that. Team defense can get beat by offensive rebounding real easy. I'm telling you right now, second chance points matter a lot. And those 3 players are the Wolves X factors because they can tip the ball back into the basket or can kick the ball out for an open 3. So again, we get to see what that Wolves team really looks like now in the second round. And for the Warriors, we get to see who y'all third option is. We know Jimmy and we know Steph going hoop. We need to get a third option, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get a third option, a consistent one. Buddy Hield dropped 33 game 7. Shout out, Buddy. Are we going to expect that again all the time? I wouldn't. So again, I'm expecting the Warriors to win. I do like the matchups. I do like the stars. Experience does matter. Wolves have good experience too now, don't get me wrong. Warriors got the better coach. I still think they have the better star. And they have enough pieces to get the job done defensively. I'm leaning Warriors. But But again, those are my expectations. Let's talk about the Thunder and Nuggets, ladies and gentlemen. This one's going to be a good one, I believe. You got Jokic mismatch. No real container for Jokic. I'm sorry. I like Hartenstein. I like Chet Holmgren. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Nikola Jokic. Nobody really can stop Nikola Jokic. You can even say the same thing about Shea. Thing is, though, I think someone like Aaron Gordon can actually contain Shea to a degree. I think someone like Christian Braun can actually do well against Shea. They're both taller. They're both lankier. They're both decent athletes, good athletes. They can guard Shea. Who's stocky enough to contain Jokic? So now you got to send doubles at Jokic, which now means the OKC Thunder are going to be playing at a mismatch. So now the others for the Nuggets, yeah, they can actually thrive easier. So again, I lean the Nuggets for me. Even though the Thunder can win, their defensive unit, they're deeper, they got good talent. I believe Shea was the MVP, but again, they have a chance. I just believe in the Nuggets a little bit more. And also they have more experience as well, too. Let's not forget about that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, those are my expectations for the West. So let's move it on down to the East, where we get to talk about the Celtics versus the Knicks, which, mind you, my concern about this one is this could be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Hopefully not, fingers crossed, but this could be because you have Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. Can they guard JB and JT? Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You got Jalen Brunson. Is he going to be able to eat versus Drew Holiday and Derek White? Karl-Anthony Towns, Josh Hart. Can they dominate Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Jason Tatum on the rebounding advantage? And then the Knicks' depth, it's severely lacking in comparison to the Celtics. But even still, there's a world where Mikal and OG can contain JB and JT. There's a world where even Jalen Brunson can eat when guarded by Drew Holiday and Derek White, the great white hope for the Celtics. Like, there's a world where Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart actually out-rebound Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Jason Tatum. So, again, this Knicks-Celtics series, ladies and gentlemen, it can be good. And the Celtics are defending champs, too. They always have a target on their back. And the Knicks are a scrappy team. So, it will be good to see this matchup. Just wish it was the Eastern Conference Finals. But who the Celtics should face in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if y'all peeped my expectation winner prediction, but it should be the Celtics. This one's gonna be interesting. The Cavs and Pacers, because again, I'm kind of torn. I want to lean Pacers, but then sometimes I want to lean the Cavs because in my world, all right, who on the Pacers can guard Donovan Mitchell? I got to find that out. Then we also got to figure out this Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton NBA duo is going to get tested. Next, can Miles Turner, the center for the Pacers, can he dominate Jared Allen? These are things that we got to figure out, ladies and gentlemen. Jared Allen's a good defensive player. So is Miles Turner. And I think Miles Turner is a good offensive player as well, too. Can Miles Turner dominate? He's a little stockier, same height, actually a little taller than Jared Allen. Should be able to dominate Jared Allen. Let's find out. And then the Pacers, well, this is their first prove-it series. I think the Cavs are healthy. Well, all right, Darius Garland is a key player, and he's injured as well, too. So that goes back to the whole Pacers narrative of always having to play injured teams. But this could be perceived as a prove-it series still because the Cavs are primarily healthy. Like, DG is the main one that's injured. So maybe we'll allow this one. We'll accept this one. But because of that injury, it does help me lean the Pacers a little bit. If DG were playing all games, I don't know how I'd lean. Darius Garland's a good player. But I do lean the Pacers, again, because of injuries. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard my expectations for the second round. We got Nuggets advancing. We got the Warriors advancing. We have the Pacers advancing. And we have the Celtics advancing. So, let's see what happens with this second round. It should be a good one. But let's find out. But, ladies and gentlemen, that does about conclude the end of the episode. So, I'm curious who you all are thinking goes to the second round, past the second round. The conference finals is just around the corner. So I definitely want to hear y'all thoughts. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the end of the episode. I thank you all for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a good one. Take care.